Good morning. It is a beautiful day. Well, actually, it's a rainy day, but all of the news that we've gotten so far this morning has made it a beautiful day.
Wowie, wowie, wowie. What news coming from our friends over at Universal Orlando in anticipation of the new Epic Universe coming in 2025. We are so excited that they actually revealed all of the details for How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk this morning, and we're going to talk about it right now.
Welcome to Disney Magic and Beyond, presented by a couple of park hoppers. If you are watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now because it does really help our channel grow. And be sure to click that bell icon to be notified anytime we post a new video.
And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other podcast platform, be sure to follow us or subscribe to us right now so you never miss an episode just like this one. This is a brand new episode today talking about today's release of the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk information overload.
that should have been the title of their video.
Right, honestly. I'm very, very excited to discuss this new land with you. This isn't going to be a crazy long one,
Nope.
but we wanted to kind of dive in as soon as that information was released on our thoughts and kind of detail all of the things that Universal talked about in that release.
Yeah, and for two night owls, we got up early.
Ooh, yeah, we did.
Also, if you think like 8 o'clock is early, you're probably, or if you think 8
Yeah.
o'clock is early, you're probably a night owl. If you don't think it's early, you probably go to bed by like 10.
Correct.
So
Correct. And we are not the go to bed by 10 people.
Unless we're sick. That's the only
Even
time.
then, probably not.
Even then, probably
not.
Yeah. But again, so worth it to get up to get all this news. We wanted to make
Yes.
sure that we covered all of this as soon as it came out. So we are so excited to go over every detail that we now know, and you should be excited too. So let's jump right into it.
Yeah, so you're probably wondering, what is How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk? Well, you can explore How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk and discover an island where Vikings and fire-breathing dragons exist together in harmony. Journey to a rocky isle and discover a village populated by rugged Vikings and rambunctious dragons. What a mouthful. And from an exciting coaster to a heartwarming live show, it's fire-breathing fun for all ages.
Fire breathing fun. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So, so this land is going to be based on DreamWorks Animation's trilogy, How to Train Your Dragon, where guests will become Vikings and see what it's like to live amongst dragons. We're going to explore a larger-than-life world that includes 5 new exciting attractions, dining, shopping, beloved character meet and greets, and flying dragons.
There was a video that was released this morning with a bunch of Universal Creative folks, including Molly Murphy, who's the president of Universal Creative, which she teased that the guests will be able to soar with dragons in a colorful world of Viking adventures, and then proceeded to basically reveal everything they have going on at How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, and there is so much cool stuff that's coming to this land.
Now, we're not going to go too much into detail about who else was in this video. However, I will tell you that it was like the
big wigs.
The big wigs. Like the people higher up on the ladder. They
Right.
had everybody who had their hands in this project.
Mm-hmm.
So this was like an announcement. As they're doing these, they're making sure that they're bringing in the people who like have had their heart and souls in this
Yeah.
project and are making the big decisions.
One of the things that really stood out to me about this video, which I thought was really cool, is the fact that when we talked about Epic Universe last week, a lot of the research that I was doing for the rundown for the show was that the Epic Universe has been in the works for about 10 years, over 10 years. And it really solidified that for me in this video, where there was a gentleman, I don't recall his name off the top of my head, but he said I'm sorry, there was a gentleman who said he wanted to experience the Toothless and I can't remember his name. Toothless and Hiccup.
Yeah.
Toothless and Hiccup, the scene where he's touching his head for the first time.
Right.
But then there was a woman right after it and said, basically, I walked out of that theater and went to work the next day and said, we need to build this. And that first movie, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe came out in 2011. So that would make sense with that timeline.
I mean, yeah, I guess that does make sense.
Yeah, a little bit afterwards, it would. They probably started thinking about this for Epic Universe back in 2011, 2012, in that area. And that's crazy to think about these folks in this video. 2010. It's crazy to think that these folks in this video have been dreaming and working on this for over a decade at this point.
Right.
And by the time it opens, it'll probably be closer to 15 years.
Right.
Which is, it's got to be so rewarding and so cool to see your brainchild come to life like that, especially with all the details and the concept art and the virtual fly through that was released today. It's amazing that that stuff comes from brains.
I mean,
I
mean, think about even just what we do here.
Yeah.
That this was a brainchild before we even left Massachusetts.
Right.
Years and years ago. And now we've been doing this since 2020 because, we started this at the best
before
time.
the pandemic.
At the best time. And that's been, really amazing to see grow. And this is an entire world coming to life.
It's amazing.
And if we know anything about Universal, when they talk about being immersed in a land, they are going to take that very seriously. You are going to feel like you are literally stepping into this movie, this trilogy. But enough about that. I think we need to jump right into the details.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So there was a bunch of details released by Universal Orlando for the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk land at Epic Universe. So we're going to go kind of over everything that they posted on their website as far as details go. And then we're going to just kind of touch on it and see and talk about how excited we are or what we're looking forward to the most in these different areas of How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. So first up, we've got Hiccup's Wing Gliders, and this is a family-friendly coaster, like we said, like we talked about last week. From Hiccup's workshop comes his latest contraption, a winged flying machine that launches aspiring dragon riders into the air, swooping and soaring and encountering Hiccup and Toothless along the way. Get ready to board Hiccup's Wing Gliders, a fun coaster that invites Vikings to prove they're brave enough to speed through the sky with dragons. Get a dragon's eye view as Hiccup's latest flying contraption sends you soaring above and around the Isle of Berk. This fun coaster is for Vikings to prove they're not only brave enough to speed through the sky with dragons, but also brave enough to ride one of Hiccup's mechanical creations. And a fun fact from UniversalOrlando.com that they have on each of these pages, the Gronkle eggshell seen on Hiccup's Wing Gliders weighs as much as 84 large chicken eggs, which is about 13 pounds. That's pretty cool.
So one thing that I took from this when watching the video is that they said that for some reason the word chaos came to mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they basically said that you're brave enough, but basically it's not ready.
Right.
So you're careening through the land. And I love that idea. And the reason I love that idea is because when it comes to a ride like Velocicoaster,
yeah,
the absolute smoothness like butter of it makes it that's why they can go so fast.
Right.
That's why it can, it's so amazing because you're like, wow, this is a brand new coaster in terms of a ride like Velocicoaster. However, if all the rides were like Velocicoaster, I mean, they'd all be fun.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be different. And I love that this has the chaos of a mythical creature taking you throughout the land. And we just know that it's going to have that smooth technology that a ride like Velocicoaster has, but that it's going to be just fun and chaotic and just adventurous. And I love knowing that just because it's going to be so new and different. It's going to feel like you're literally on the back of a mythical creature. And I love that idea.
It's awesome because basically what they showed us is that you're going to be flying around this land kind of turning and dipping and climbing and dipping and turning and going through water. And it just seems like it's going to be an absolute adventure. I'm so excited to get on this ride for the first time.
I think careening chaos.
Careening chaos is a great way to describe it. Yeah.
Like I just imagine it everywhere, and I just, yeah.
I'm in.
So this video made me more excited about this coaster than I was before.
Same here. Family friendly. It's not going to be the intensity of a Velocicoaster like Danie was talking about, but it will definitely, with 2024, 2025 technology, I would imagine be insanely smooth and so much fun for riders of all ages as long as you're tall enough for the height restrictions. But I cannot wait to get on Hiccup's wing gliders. I think the idea of it and everything I've seen in that video just makes it look epic.
Yeah, and one note on that, when something is family friendly, that usually means that over a certain age, it's not. I mean, it might be scary for some kids because, some kids seem to be afraid of like butterflies landing on them.
I was afraid of roller coasters for a very long time.
I know. I'm talking about like a kid's coaster though.
Sure.
Like a little coaster.
Right. Like Barnstormer.
Yeah, exactly. Like some kids are just afraid of, anything like that moves. But I want to say that when it comes to this, I think that a word that we keep hearing is immersion.
Right.
So I think it's going to be less about the thrills, even though it looks like it's going to be thrilling, but more about the immersiveness of riding a dragon. And that's where like you're going to get to have the family, like fun for the whole family type of ride because of the immersion. That's why it's going to be just, a top tier ride.
Absolutely. So yeah, Hiccup Swing Glider is going to be awesome. I cannot wait. That's going to be probably I'm judging it long before everything opens, but that's probably going to be my favorite attraction in this land. But there's so much more to cover from How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. And let's move on to our next piece of information here that we got. And I actually forgot to show you, for those of you watching on YouTube, youtube.com/a couple of park hoppers. I was going to actually show you some art here that they actually released here. So let me show you that real quick for Hiccup's Wing Gliders before we move on. But there's the logo for Hiccup's Wing Gliders. And then you can see what I was talking about there, where you're actually like flying through water, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you want to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, if you are listening, if you're like driving and listening, catching up right now, just know that these photos are like they're breathtaking. And we're gonna, you can check this out on youtube.com/a couple of park hoppers if you want to check out all the videos as we post them. We're also going to be sharing some of this content that Universal has announced today on all of our social media platforms. So go find us anywhere and you'll be able to see some of this.
Yes. So we got some concept art for Hiccup's Wing Gliders there, flying through the water, flying around a bunch of little dragons. So definitely go check that out. All these photos and stuff are from universalorlando.com as well. All right. So moving on to the next the next part of How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk is
the Untrainable Dragon live stage show. When a new dragon shows up on the Isle of Berk, the Vikings think that they have finally met their match. Hiccup and Toothless, with help from Gobber and Astrid, work together to solve the mystery of the untrainable dragon. Experience the wonder of dragons on stage, soaring overhead in this spectacular, music-filled, heartwarming live show. And this is inspired by Universal Beijing's Resort's Untrainable show. Fast fact from universalorlando.com. Toothless soars above the audience, weighing in at 1,157 pounds with a wingspan of nearly 27 feet.
That is nuts.
Now, one thing that they didn't put on the website, but they said in the video, is this is going to be a Broadway caliber show.
Yes.
And honestly, hearing that, like, made my ears perk up.
Yes.
Because you don't say that something is, like, worthy of Broadway unless it's worthy of Broadway.
Have you seen footage from the Universal Beijing Untrainable show?
I have, but I'm going to say that the pieces that I've seen have just been bits and pieces, so I don't feel like I've gotten a full...
Picture this. For those of you who haven't been to Universal Beijing, I have not either, but picture the Born Stunt Show, okay? You know the scene where Jason Bourne is flying over you with the helicopter, like hanging from the helicopter.
Right.
Picture that, but it's actually Toothless with Hiccup like riding him.
Right. So
Like,
what I was gonna
over
say,
you.
what I was gonna say is I haven't gotten like a full concept of what it's like to sit in the audience. But like and I've seen that footage, and I think it looks really, really cool. I think that's the pieces I've seen because that's the
Sure.
most like, oh, wow, that looks so cool. But like hearing it's a Broadway worthy show brings it up another level than just like a stage show,
And-
because we've been going to theme parks our whole lives.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up going to like Six Flags Fiesta Texas, SeaWorld San Antonio,
Right.
and all of those have stage shows.
Sure.
And here's the thing, those are amazing, but this is going to be a next level stage show.
I think of this as most likely something as close to Festival of the Lion King quality, like music and production and costumes, in addition to other really cool technology being utilized to have dragons flying above our head.
Yeah, and I think that's such a something great to point out. I know I said the other two parks, but like I've been going to Disney since I was 10 years old. And, you know, even those kind of stage shows, I would agree that it's going to be similar to, you know, something as, you know, quality level as Festival of the Lion King. And that show I've probably been watching since I was like 10 years old.
Right.
And
right.
this is going to be brand new. So, I mean, it is just going to be something that you're going to need to see. I'm just so curious how many shows a day we're going to get out of that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I would imagine it would probably be on the same schedule as something like a Rogers the Musical out of Disneyland, where I believe, I want to say it was 3-4 shows a day, something like that.
Really? You think it'll only be that?
I don't know. I don't know how long the show is, how much in the actors need to do in a certain day. I'm not really sure. We don't know the details of that yet.
Because I'm wondering if, because it's going to be so highly like anticipated and people are going to want to see it, I wonder if we're going to see it somewhere between Rogers and like how often they do Festival of the Lion King.
Well, it depends on the level of production and how much goes into it. Because if they need to reset a bunch of stuff and, you know, get new actors and things in there, it's gonna be a spectacle. And so we'll see how intense the actual production is.
Right.
And there's definitely a chance it could be more than 3 or 4. But with everything they announced about all this technology and the costumes and all that stuff, I can't imagine doing it with more than one cast per day.
Right.
I would imagine that the same cast would be doing several productions during the day, but who knows?
I'm thinking it's going to be, we're going to get a 6 shows a day. That's my guess.
Okay.
If not more.
Okay.
And it depends how long it is also.
Right.
Because if you're saying Broadway level, I'm guessing it's going to be like a 25-minute show.
Yeah, I would guess somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't think you can ask like kids to sit in a show for an hour.
Well, Festival of Lion King's 30 minutes.
I think that that's
Frozen show is 30 minutes.
I think 30 to 40 minutes is like the most. I feel like otherwise you're going to have kids like playing in the aisles and stuff. Because, yeah, that's just,
Yeah.
you know, even for some adults.
We'll just
you
feed
know,
them to dragons if they start acting
I know.
up.
If you get out of your seat, kids.
Yeah,
The
get back to your
the
seat, you little
dragons will
brats.
eat ya.
All right. Well, that sounds amazing. I cannot wait to see the Untrainable Dragon coming in 2025 to Epic Universe.
No matter how many times they play today, I just want to make sure that I get to see that as soon as possible.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Moving on to the next announcement from How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, and that is Dragon Racers Rally. The sport of dragon racing is celebrated pastime on the Isle of Berk. At Dragons Racers Rally, Berk's new Vikings can practice aerobatic maneuvers. I thought I was going to say acrobatic. It's aerobatic. Aerobatic maneuvers and high-speed barrel rolls on a Viking-made dragon riding trainer. You'll need these high-flying, gravity-defying, swooping and soaring skills. Wow, mouthful. And if you hope to become a champion dragon racer. Fun fact from UniversalOrlando.com, the world of How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk encompasses 15.5 acres with a total of 162,500 square feet of rock work, making it a Viking village for dragon-sized adventures.
Can you pull up that photo again for me, please?
Yeah, of course.
So if you look at that, my understanding is each of those pieces, and if you're listening, at the end of where all of the people are, like on the ride where everybody gets to sit.
Yeah.
It looks like there's an individual spot for everybody. And my understanding, if I'm understanding correctly, is that you are going to be able to maneuver yourself at your own speed. So if you just want to sit there and kind of spin slowly, or if you want to spin faster, you can.
Right. So that's exactly what's going to be happening here. So these large contraptions that you're seeing on our screen here, youtube.com/a couple of park hoppers, if you want to see what we're talking about, these will just basically be spinning around. And then if you want to, you can control your contraption, individual contraption, and make it go upside down and flip as much as you want it to. So that's a really nice touch because not everybody wants to practice going to space. You know, those things that like spin you around and flip you upside down.
Oh, that's going to be me.
Yeah.
I want to go to space.
But not everybody wants to do that.
Come on, Space Dragon.
If you're going to ride Dragon's Racers Rally and you don't want that intense like flipping upside down constantly experience, you can still have that experience without that. It's really up to you.
But all you people who want to go to space, come with me. We're going to spin real fast.
No.
And if you don't want to spin real fast, go with Bill.
Go with me.
But we'll all be in line together, and it's going to be
Exactly.
really fun.
Exactly.
I'm like psyched to be able to just be like, if depending on how fast they let us go, just if there's a button, just to be like, just spin me as fast as you can, Mr. Dragon. Let's go.
Exactly. All right. What do you think? I'm pretty excited about this. I'm not sure if I'm gonna ride it. I'll be honest with you.
What?
I'm excited to see what it looks like and how people enjoy it, but this type of ride, Dragon's Racers Rally with like the spinning, looping thing, it's never been my cup of tea. So
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll ride it or not.
Oh, you'll ride it.
I don't know.
And you'll like it.
I don't know.
Come on, dragons.
Maybe.
I'm just kidding. You don't have to ride if you don't want to. You can send me and so I can try to ride it first.
Sure.
We'll
see.
You can watch me first.
We'll see what it looks like in person, how high it goes, because that's a huge factor for me.
Here's the thing. I would not go on that little ball where you're like a hamster and they like shoot you into the sky and you like bounce up and down like at the, you know what I'm talking about?
The slingshot?
Yeah, like the slingshot.
Oh, hell no.
So I wouldn't do that. This, heck yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, you're going to strap me in and spin me really fast? Say less. I will ride over and over again.
Be my guest.
I will be your guest. I will ride those dragons all the time. That looks awesome. Like, especially knowing that you can spin at your own speed.
Right.
Come on. You know what you do? You go and you spin real fast on that one, and then you go back and you ride the roller coaster.
And then I go to the trash can.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
I bet you I would.
You're fine.
I bet you I would.
You're fine.
Okay.
You're gonna enjoy it.
We'll see.
I think you're gonna love
We'll
it.
see if I ever get on it.
You have to ride once for science.
Fine.
I knew
Fine.
it.
But I'm not going to spin.
Will you?
That button will not be touched.
I don't know if it's a button or not. I just
For those of you who don't know, I never rode any sort of intense roller coaster at all until about 2017. And the first coaster I ever went on was the Mummy, and that was in 2008. That scared me so bad that I never went on another roller coaster again for another 9 years.
Oh my gosh, babe.
Until I was forced by our friends and this one here when we first started dating, and I tried to impress her.
I love
Went
you.
on the Incredible Freaking Hulk. And when the joke we always make with each other is that the feelings that I was having and like the clammy hands and like the worried face and the scaredness surrounding me was like I was going off to war.
And we were in the single rider line, so we weren't riding together.
No.
I was behind him, and he like turned around and was like, "Goodbye." And then was like,
Goodbye. Never see you again.
Like, oh no, and then like walked over and jumped on the ride. But
I'm
I mean,
about to die.
that's what it felt like. But I've always been a roller coaster girly.
No.
You have not been a roller coaster girly.
No way, Jose. No, I have not ever been a roller coaster girly until more recently. And I've started to fall in love with specifically launch coasters. I love coasters that just don't make me think, just send me. Like Velocicoaster, like Hulk, like Rock and Roller Coaster. I will go on those all day long. But when you start giving me a 200-foot tick, 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 tick climb like Mako at SeaWorld, not a fan.
I mean,
it's a heights thing.
I don't know. For me, like growing up, going to, like I said, Disney, SeaWorld, Six Flags, like those are, like I remember being like, you know, a teenager in high school and eating like a turkey leg and then like being like, let's get on the Superman and just like jumping on.
Nope.
And like people would be like, how are you eating before then? I'd be like, because I'm hungry. Like, what is your problem?
Yeah.
I mean, I still feel pretty okay with that. Luckily that hasn't, you know, changed. But usually I don't really eat turkey legs anymore.
Yeah, I've never had one.
Yeah, you had a bite of one.
I've never had a turkey leg.
You ate it when I was like back in the day, like
I don't.
a couple of years ago. I gave you a bite of it, and you were like,
I don't remember it. It wasn't memorable if I did.
"No," you told me it tasted like ham.
Sure.
I was like, "Not ham."
Right.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our next announcement: fire drill. With fire-breathing dragons everywhere, villagers have to be prepared. Viking twins Rough Nut and Tough Nut have transformed Berk's fire school into a watery, interactive boat battle at sea. Board your ship in fire drill and blast your water cannons at flame-like targets and the occupants of every other boat to outsoak other Vikings. Fast fact from UniversalOrlando.com. This watery sea adventure has water cannons that shoot over 28 feet through the air to reach the many targets throughout the ride, along with other Viking ships.
This looks so much fun.
I'm so excited. It's not gonna be like the Jungle Cruise and be a really boring ride where you just go through and don't get to do anything. You're gonna get to shoot up lots of stuff.
Wow. Are you done?
No.
The part that I'm most excited about, honestly, is an outdoor boat ride. I think that's really cool. It's not an It's a Small World or Frozen or Pirates of the Caribbean type of indoor, fully, immersive thing. It's gonna be really cool to ride a boat ride outside, especially in the Florida summer where you're just gonna get wet anyway. Very, very cool idea here for fire drill, and I love the fact that it sounds like the water cannons on your boats that you can shoot at other boats, other targets, other people. And then sounds like there's also going to be chances for our Viking friends to also shoot your boats from off the ride, which prepare to get wet, right? Prepare to get soaked.
Get wet.
Yeah.
So I thought when they were like a family-friendly boat ride, I imagined being like, look at that dragon, look at this dragon, look at that dragon.
Right.
And it being like basically kind of like a dragon Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
That's what I imagined. And I was like, cute. I'll go on it once.
Yeah.
This, however, is way more fun because it's going to be like, let's use a Universal IP. Men in Black meets water ride.
Sure.
I was trying to think of a boat ride at Universal. I mean, the beginning of.
Blutos?
I don't know if I've ever been on that.
The barge? Oh, you get drenched.
Yeah, I've never been on that.
Oh, okay. Or the Dudley Do-Right thingy?
Because every time you would go, I was like working. Like,
Yeah.
because I think you went like twice just to go on like the water rides.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't able to go.
You get wet. You get wet on those rides, for
So
sure.
I just think this is going to be really, really fun because you're going to get to like, each side's going to have all these like things to shoot at. I'm curious about the different technology that we're going to see too with that. Because I'm guessing that they're going to keep score.
I would imagine so. Or at least like on your specific boat, you might have things you can rack up. But I don't think it mentioned anything about scores. I think it might just be one of those things where you blast targets and they like fall or they reset.
They like react to what you're hitting.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Or something happens when you hit it.
And just to clarify, no, I do not like Jungle Cruise. If you're watching, I don't love it.
Such a shame.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how I've ever liked you.
Because all of the other things that we match up on, except for
So
Jungle
disappointing.
Cruise.
Jungle Cruise hater.
That's, and I'll go on it, but like, if I thought that it was gonna be like that, it's just not my cup of tea.
It's
That's
fantastic.
That's why there are so many different rides at theme parks. Not everything is gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but I always get dragged on that ride.
Like Dragons Racers Rally is not going to be my thing.
You don't know that.
I do.
You don't know
I
that.
do know that. I will go on it once for science, and I will have my eyes shut the entire time.
Oh, come on. all of the other rides that we go on that are fun, you're like, wahoo!
Yeah, but that's a different type of ride.
You know,
I'm not being flung towards the ground.
You know how Bill Neville always says, wahoo! Every time he goes on
or
a
Mario,
ride.
you mean?
Wahoo!
Woohoo!
No, you say wahoo.
Wahoo. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yahoo!
You're not drinking a Yahoo.
That's you.
Oh, you.
Yahoo's the search engine, you doofus. Wow. Oh, the struggle. We got woohoo, wahoo, yahoo, yoo-hoo.
This is what happens when you make me wake up and function before, like,
right.
before
Right.
my time to be
Man,
awake.
It sounds like you need some training.
Like a dragon?
Yeah, or like a Viking.
Or like a Viking?
No, like a Viking. Because the next area that was revealed at How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk is the Viking Training Camp. At Viking Training Camp, junior Vikings will discover all types of dragons in this sprawling, colorful, interactive play area. Adventures include multiple towers to climb and explore, a fun agility course, Viking drums and chimes to play, an interactive sheep launcher game, that sounds awesome, plus slides and activities for the youngest Vikings. And a fast fact from UniversalOrlando.com, the Isle of Berk contains 119 buckets, 175 barrels, 168 crates, 151 feed sacks, 115 books, and 120 baskets. Some of these can be spotted in the Viking training camp.
An interactive sheep launcher game.
That sounds awesome.
So one thing that I'm really excited about this is like these kind of areas, we haven't seen one of these in a long time.
Right.
And honestly, this isn't really going to be built for us, this area.
Yeah, no.
We'll check it out, obviously, but this is going to be for kids to like run out their energy when they're at the theme park. The other thing about this is I am curious to see how Universal handles and has prepared for the heat.
Yes.
So a water pad or like an area for kids to play that has water does not mean that it is going to be cool, like cool temperature wise.
Right.
It can be really cool, like, looking wise and fun wise, but in the Florida heat, I'm really excited to see what they do because I think that we're going to see new and inventive ways to keep these areas like nice and cool. Because growing up in Texas, I have a lot of memories of getting on like a slide or like on like playgrounds and stuff and immediately being sizzle, like your skin would just
your
like
skin starts to fry.
as soon as you like sat down or touched something and you kind of learned like, oh, don't touch it.
Right.
Yeah. Like even if like there's water someplace, sometimes it's just baking in the sun. And so I'm super psyched because I just know that they're going to come into this being like, guess what? Florida's hot, y'all. So let's make sure that the kids stay cool
Right.
because it's going to help not only the kids to have a better time and anybody who interacts at Viking training camp, but it's also going to make families and people who are visiting their visits that much more enjoyable,
Yeah.
especially a place to cool off.
I mean, I admittedly, I've never really spent much time in these kids' areas, you know, the splash pads and all that kind of stuff. But this seems like something I would love to walk through and check out all the little details and maybe get soaked by something. Depends on the day. You know, I don't love getting my clothes soaked while I'm at a theme
Neither
park.
do I. Unless I'm prepared for it.
Yeah, right, exactly. Or I bring a change of clothes or something. But this seems like a really cool addition to How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk for adding something that's literally for all ages, not necessarily just attractions and rides. It's like something that even babies can do.
Yeah.
And I think that's great that they're encompassing everyone from, 2 to 99. I think it's great.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that it's amazing that we're going to have places to cool off, especially running around in like a land as big as Epic Universe. One thing that I was just going to say is, in my experience, just like growing up in Texas and, being some like places that have water rides, I think this is going to be the type of place where you wear a swimsuit, a comfortable swimsuit underneath your clothes.
Yeah.
And then you wear a t-shirt and shorts that you know are going to cool off.
Right.
So you can go like, especially on a hot day, go get wet, go ride, fire drill, go to Viking training camp, get wet, and you're just going to kind of be able to basically dry off because of the clothes that you're wearing.
Yeah.
That's how I'm
For sure.
mentally, I'm already preparing for this.
I'm excited to go checking out the Viking training camp. Sounds awesome.
Yeah. Well, once you're done playing at Viking training camp, you can head over to Mead Hall.
That's my tummy getting hungry from all the stuff to do.
Yes. Here's the place to eat and drink like a Viking. The massive Mead Hall is Berk's main gathering place, a grand chamber home with mountain rock where Vikings feast on a hearty menu, including meat, fish, sandwiches. And desserts. Chicken sandwiches. Beverages include assorted meads, ciders, and ales. That's fact from UniversalOrlando.com. The village's main gathering place has a fake entrance door standing on an impressive 16 feet 7 inches tall.
The word is faux.
You're faux.
By the way.
You're faux.
F-A-U-X, faux. Also means fake, but it says faux.
And then also we have a little note. Spitfire Grill is going to be the quick service dining, and Hooligans Grog and Gruel stand with quick bites. So we're going to have a couple options.
3 different dining options.
I do want to say, when I was watching this the first time, I thought they were saying meat hall.
Meat hall. I want to go to meat hall.
And I was like, whoa. And I didn't see like the words mead with a D at the end on the screen.
Yeah, mead.
They were just showing us photos. So if you're listening and not watching on youtube.com/a couple of park hoppers, it is mead, M-E-A-D, which mead is a type of alcoholic beverages that's classified by having, it's like honey, yeast, and one other thing in it. Like it's fermented honey, water, and yeast. So that's how that's classified. But I'm guessing it sounds like Vikings. That's something that Vikings are known for, mead. And you can put other things in it like fruit and all sorts of different stuff. And so when they say eat and drink like a Viking, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
Big freaking things of meat and big like steins of drink.
Yeah.
That's kind of what comes to my mind. Like big metal steins.
When they say eat and drink like a Viking, I think of like
Bucky's.
No, the people can't see Bucky's.
Yeah.
Fine, I have to switch hands. But it'll be like Vikings, Vikings,
Yeah.
with a giant like
Right.
cup that you like
And holding
struggle.
shields and spears and big beards.
Yeah, like I just imagine
Like
how
Ivar, my boy from WWE.
I just imagine having like giant hair and like paint on my face and being like, bring me the mead and the meat. Bring me all of it.
Yes. You have to clarify between the D and the T. It's
I know.
mead and meat.
Bring me both.
Bring me both.
That's what it sounds like for mead
Feast.
hall.
Yes.
Because every time I say it, I hear meat also.
But that-
meat hall.
But that space looks really cool. It's going to be kind of wide open space with lots of really cool decorations.
Are those dragon scales?
I would imagine.
I think those are dragon scales on the pillars.
Either that or it's supposed to look like it.
It's basically like a dragon temple in there. It almost looks like.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
And
Huge
not like
dining space.
there's no like there's nothing that's like makes it a temple, but it just looks like it's dedicated to the love of dragons.
Right.
Is what I'm taking from that.
I think that's fantastic. You have a huge immersive dining experience, plus a quick serve, plus a stand with quick bites. I think you're fulfilling everybody's hunger needs in one land.
I think you and I are both suckers for immersive type food and like themed food.
Yep.
So I think that this is going to be really fun to be able to go and try.
Yeah.
And
Feels
when
like
I say suckers, I just mean like if we see it and we and the line isn't too long, we're buying it.
It feels like to me what this is going to be kind of like a leaky cauldron on a much larger, grander scale.
Oh, 100%. This is going to be like Leaky Cauldron if it had, I don't even know.
On steroids.
Yeah, on all the steroids.
But just like that dark kind of wooden feel, you know what I mean? In Leaky Cauldron.
Oh, 100.
But like
yeah.
significantly larger and dragon themed.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like Leaky Cauldron, but if you put it into the Hulk and it got, what is it, the gamma rays and
Yeah.
and got really, really like intense.
Yeah.
That's what I think it's going to be like.
I love it. So many food options.
All right, well, we got one last thing.
And this is really cool. For somebody like Danie who loves meeting and greeting characters, this is going to be, for lack of a better term, epic.
I love meet and greets.
Meet Berk's best-known dragons and Vikings. Honor the bond between dragon and Viking at the Haddock Paddock, where you'll get to meet and pose for photos with the heroic Hiccup and the friendly Night Fury dragon, Toothless. From Astrid and Stormfly to Rough Nut and Tough Nut. Wow, so many names. You'll see some of your favorite Vikings and dragons throughout the Isle of Berk. And a fun fact from UniversalOrlando.com, the Viking Village features 30 animated and static dragons representing 17 unique dragon species throughout the world.
I'm very excited about this because I am so curious to see what Toothless looks like. Because, like,
I think it's going to look fantastic.
I think Toothless is so cool looking. Like, so cute. I'm probably already, like, going to have to put aside money to get myself, like, a Toothless, like, stuffed animal, a little shoulder pal, whatever they sell. That, you know, that's my jam. But also, like, I love character meet and greets when they don't talk.
Universal kicks ass at the character meet and greet stuff, like the big stuff. Like, how cool is it that you get to meet the Velociraptor or you get to meet the Transformers? Those are unlike any other meet and greets that you get to do in any other theme park, honestly.
Right.
And the fact that you're going to be able to meet Hiccup and these other dragons as walk-around characters, I think that the costumes are going to be next level.
They're going to be like state of the art.
Yeah.
Like new, all of that.
Moving mouth, moving eyes, all kinds of fun stuff. But they're going to be large in scale, I would imagine, too, because they can't be like tiny dragons with people. They're going to be what you would consider life size.
I feel like he looks to be like horse size.
Yeah.
Like a short horse that's still like as big and long.
Right.
is what I'm like the way I feel about the photos. I also want to say that even though I am like, oh, I love character meet and greets when they can't talk. So like when you get to interact with them, but you're kind of like
Explain what you mean by that.
So I love character meet and greets when they can't talk. So
Because I know what you mean.
So when I meet a character that's like from a specific IP or genre. what I mean by that is if you walk up to them, sometimes you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" and they're so like
in character,
like
face characters.
There's almost like closed off questions,
right,
or answers. So you'll be like, "Hey, whatever." I don't want to like say something like as though I'm calling anybody out, but like
if you walked up to Anna and Elsa. Because I've had this experience. If you walked up to Anna and Elsa and you said, "Hey, how are you doing today?" and it's like, "We're doing great. We're so glad that you magically came to our kingdom, Your Majesty." And it's like, they can't just say, "Good, how are you?" You know what I mean?
Right.
They're so in character, and then after that line, it's hard to continue that conversation with them because they're so in character.
Right. But a lot of times, sometimes they'll also bring up stuff from like the movies that it's hard to like pretend that like I live there. So they'll be like, "Oh,
right.
Yes, like in Arendelle, like, Olaf is so excited about this." And you're like, awesome.
Cool.
Like, I
they're
do
amazing
enjoy them.
at what they do.
I do enjoy those interactions.
Yeah.
But I prefer when I can go up to Mickey and be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you. Like, I love your outfit."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, yay." And he like is
right.
talking.
He's animated.
He's talking without talking. And some people may not like that, but for me, I like to have those interactions because I find them really fun. And I find that I guess I don't find myself in a situation where a character says something to me and I'm like, "That sounds pretty cool."
Right.
And like when I say something back, I'm not, sometimes it's fun and sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to say. And it gives me like stage fright almost. Like I don't know what to say. And then I walk away and I'm like, "Was that okay?"
You're
like,
fine.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will say that it's not like that for every character. It's definitely like case by case basis because there are some face characters that I've met. And by face, I mean a character not in like
a head,
a bodysuit.
Yeah.
Like basically like that. So a face character is a character that you're seeing their physical face. Any other character that I'm talking about is one that like they are inside something. You cannot see the person.
Right.
But there are character meet and greets that I have absolutely loved. Gaston at Disney.
The villains are easier to interact with. Like you could be sarcastic and you could be jokey with the villains.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice is a great one.
I love seeing Beetlejuice at Universal.
Yes.
We had a video where I interacted with Beetlejuice and it went like semi-viral, right?
Oh yeah,
It got like I don't know, a bunch of views, like 100,000 views or something like that, maybe just under. But it went viral because like he is so good and so easy to talk to.
Right.
And I'm thinking that you're going to have like a really cool experience, not just having like a face character, but also like the dragons there.
Right.
And, one thing that they said in the video that I don't want to forget is they said that you are going to be able to recreate that iconic scene where,
Hiccup,
thank
Toothless.
you. I wanted to call him Honey.
Embrace.
I knew that wasn't it.
Yeah,
I got
honey.
the mead, Honey. You put your hand out and then Toothless like leaned forward and put his
head in his hand.
Yeah, in his hand. It's like an iconic moment in the trilogy. And they were saying that you can like recreate that.
Yeah.
And I think that for people who love this trilogy, that's going to be like a very emotional moment and like a amazing thing to be able to experience.
Mm-hmm. To be able to step into those films and be able to have that same experience that Hiccup did and have so many people get emotional during that scene. To be able to relive that is going to be really, really neat.
Yeah, and one thing is like if you haven't been with us for a while, like especially like during the pandemic, um one thing that we talked about a lot was that how much we missed meet and greets
Mm-hmm.
because when they're not there, there's a certain bit of magic that's missing
Yeah.
in any theme park. And I know that these meet and greets are going to bring I can't talk. They're going to be bringing a level of just magic and bringing the series, the trilogy to life that just tie it all together. Because seeing Walk Around Dragon, seeing people interact with these beloved characters that have been around for almost 15 years by the time the park opens
Crazy.
is just going to be like so immersive and so wonderful. So, overall, I think that all of the news that we got today is so exciting. And you know what the most insane part is?
What's that?
This is only one land.
I know. It's one land that's part of a whole epic universe over at Universal Orlando Resort. So yeah, so excited about How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. I admittedly have not been a super fan of this franchise. I do enjoy the movies, but I'm going to rewatch them again.
I've never seen them.
Oh, really? And we're gonna go back and we're gonna go watch all of them again in anticipation of Epic Universe opening and the live action version of How to Train Your Dragon opening in June of 2025. So very, very exciting stuff coming up for this particular franchise.
So again, guys, if you are watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. It does really help our channel grow. And be sure to click that bell icon to be notified every time we post a new video. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other podcast platform, be sure to follow us right now so that you can never miss an episode. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of the breaking news about How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. And until next time,
We will see you around the parks. Thanks for joining us for this super impromptu episode. We appreciate you guys so much. We'll see you next time.